sheet where we merged all the items together, right? And then we have everything in all cells. In the end, everything is on this sheet, and we really do not want these other sheets. So if I highlight these other sheets and right click, I can choose to hide them, and then just this, since everything is embedded here, I can choose to hide them here, right? However, it's there are times where you have so many sheets and unhiding is or hiding isn't really the best. There is under query, okay, if you go to your data tab and click on queries and connections, so it brings out this shows all the tables in your um, Power Query. So you can choose, you can select which one you want to load and which one you do not want to load. You can load connection only, so it's somewhere in the query, but it's not coming out as a table. So here we just want the all sales. We don't want all these because they are all merged to the all sales sheets. So I can come so I can come to each of them and change the loading location. Load to so here it's loaded to table. So you can load, there are different ways, there are different places you can load this data to, and I'm going to show you. So here you see you can load to table, which is the current thing. You can load to pivot table directly. You can load to pivot charts. And you can only create connections. So creating only connections is, you want to continue. Creating connections, it's there in the connections, but you don't have it visibly in any of the sheets. So it's only if you need it visibly that you can come and load it. That way it makes your work neater and less cumbersome. Only necessary things will be present. Right? So on and on. And you don't even need to come this route. In Power Query, now just open it here. When you're done editing your work and you go to load, close and load, if you click on the drop down, you see close and load to. If it's the first instance where you are loading it, if you select close and load to, it brings up that option. It brings up the options where you can select where you want to load it to. So it will bring up this option if you want to load it to a pivot table directly, or a pivot chart, or create connections only. So you can move all of them to create connections only. Now just do all that for the ones we are not needing, so that it's just the ones that we need that would remain. So you won't need to do all this in length if you had done it from the onset, but it's no big deal. So these are empty sheets now, just delete all of them. So it's all here. So it's only this I have loaded to a table. These other ones are connections only. But if I want to get maybe 2010 to a table, I just come to the queries and connections, right click and load to. I can now choose to load it to a table, maybe a new sheet. I click on OK and it comes here, right? But we don't have need of it anymore since it's all merged. So I'll just come load to create connections only, so it goes away, which makes things all neat. As a matter of fact, if you're not going to need the table for this, you can still load it to, maybe you're going to create pivot charts eventually. Unless you don't reference this, you could just load it straight to a pivot table. And there we go, pivot table. So this is normal. So imagine an Excel sheet without anything, it's all blank, but it gets your work done. So you go to data. If you want to get that pin for the queries and connections, you go to data and queries and connections, and then you see it all here. So this is my pivot table. I'll show fields, and you can do your analysis however you want to do it. So that's about it with navigating Power Query. Don't worry, when you have the practices, when you have the exercises to practice, you'd have lots of them by next week. Lots and lots of them. There would be better understanding. Okay. So here we just have our pivot tables. We can even just do pivot charts, pivot tables and pivot charts, and all our data set is nowhere to be found, just in hidden. So it helps for neat data presentation and yeah, back end calculations. It also makes your sheet lighter, right? Because everything is done back end, rather than having lots of formulas and a whole lot of tables here and there. Yeah. Okay, so that is that for this guy. Any other questions regarding Power Query, previous topics? None. Okay. So let us see how we can download Power BI. I'll just search for Power BI download, Power BI desktop download, and then you download it from the official website. Download Power BI, you look at the website, Microsoft.com. Please go for Microsoft.com. You'll see stuff like Softonic and so many other guys trying to help Udemy, Softonic. Please, just best to download from the Microsoft website. Okay, select your language and download. So you would see Power BI desktop setup, .exe, Power BI desktop setup. Personally, I usually always go for the biggest files because okay. This is times 64. There is 64 bits and then there is I think 48, or is it 36? I am lost. 32. Yeah, 32 bits and 64 bits. If you know your computer's bits, you would want to download. So yeah, it goes to the download. It's gonna take 7 minutes, and I really have it on my computer, so I hope it takes us through the installation process at least. Let's see how it goes. Okay, anyways, while it downloads, just like any typical file, You just go through the installation process. Do you agree, and all that? And after you agree, the Power BI icon, once it's installed successfully, you have the Power BI desktop icon looking like this. The yellow or golden colors, different shades of charts. Power BI desktop. If you select it, sorry, 1 second. It's open on the other screen, so I'm trying to. Let me see if I can move it here. Okay, so I click on this and open. Yeah, that's it. So it opens this way, and this is what your Power BI desktop should look like. Well, it would not have these guys here because these are like recent tasks I have done. So here you have something like intro. What is Power BI? Okay, web based. You could view it if you want to, but this is usually the interface. I think typically the first thing you'll be asked is your data source. Select a data source or start with a blank report. So there are different data sources. You have blank reports, OneLake, Excel, da, 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 da. If you want to get from other sources, get data from other sources. If you click on this, it shows you a list, just like you have in Excel. When you go to get data, it shows you a list of different sources. It has like so many data sources you can import data from. Here, different databases and on. And it's more robust than Excel when it comes to handling bulk data. Okay, let me see how far the download has gone. Okay, almost done. Anyway, so once you've installed it, let's look at the interface. Typically, yeah, this is what the page will look like once you exit the intro page. By the way, Power BI, what is Power BI? Power BI is power, and okay, the BI in Power BI stands for business intelligence. Okay, so Power BI, Power Business Intelligence. Power BI is a tool used to carry out business intelligence, carry out analysis. You can create dashboards, automate reports with Power BI, and do a whole lot of other stuff. The whole idea is data visualization. You're automating the processes back ends, and Power BI is the tool for that. So the dashboards you created in Excel, we're going to recreate them in Power BI, and you're going to see the difference. It's just like, so when I'm asked what is the difference between Power BI and Excel, let me see if I can open any Power BI dashboard. Did we do a dashboard on Superstore in Excel? I think we did. This is a rough one. No, this is definitely not. Let me try this. I'm looking for something finished so you have an idea of what we're looking like. Okay, this is more like it. Yeah. So here, someone, some would ask, oh, what's the difference between Microsoft Excel and Power BI? If they can do the same thing, I could do this with Excel. I could do this with yeah, I can do Excel. So why do I have to? Why do I need Power BI? What's the major difference? And here's the thing. Here's the analogy I give. So you have a Land Cruiser. You have a Land Cruiser Jeep, and you go to buy bags of cement, or even a car. You have a saloon car. You and you want to, maybe you're building a house or something. You go to buy bags of cement, and you stuff it into the boots. It's gonna enter, right? Yes. The back of the car may go really low. It's gonna enter. You are able to move and get this job done. On the other hand, if you are using a truck to load this, it's going to be more balanced. It's going to be more yeah, it's going to get the job done better, right? So the whole idea is, okay, excel excel will get the job done, but Power BI will get the job done better. It is meant for this. It is the core. So Power BI takes a whole lot of heavier load. Yes, it has a higher processor capacity, and has a lesser processing time. So that's why it's called Power. Yes, and in Power BI there's something called Power BI Power Tools. So when you're talking of Power Tools, you're talking of Power BI, you're talking of Power Query, you're talking of Power Pivots. We didn't get into Power Pivots here in Excel. So then and Power Pivots is similar to it's similar to the back end of Power BI. It's just some way of it was a way of integrating some Power BI functionalities into Excel. So there is really not much lost. Power BI. So Power BI is a very important tool. Power BI is also part of a platform Microsoft called Power Platforms. Rather, Microsoft Power Platforms. Yeah. Where you have Power Automate and the rest of them. Power Apps, Power BI. Yeah, so it's all about integrating processes, automating business processes, automating reports, right? And Power BI is pretty interactive. Like I said, it is the one for the job. So you can easily navigate, automate processes. See, just like what we have in Excel. In Excel, how we created our charts, our visuals, and all, it's way easier here. Um, Here you could also navigate if you want to streamline, drill down to a particular category. Like for example, you have sales by category here, and I want to drill down to phones. I can come and click here, and everything is streamlined to phones. If I want for chairs, same thing. If I want to streamline to a particular state, California, I get the info and all that. You don't get this luxury in the Excel. Technology, if I click on this, I can have everything streamlined to technology. And so it helps for easy navigation and so on and so forth. So in Power BI you have the Power BI desktop, which is what we are using. It's free, doesn't require subscription. Power BI desktop. And then there is also Power BI service Power BI services or Power BI online, which is a web service. You need subscription to access that, right? Um, but we would not require that for now. We don't require subscription. We'll be working with the free version. It's just primarily used to share data when you want to share with other people where they can navigate. Yeah, um, navigate the reports. However, you can still save this and share as PBIX files. Okay. So that's it. Let me see. I'm sure the download will be done by now. Yes. Let me see if the installation process would not flag that I am using. Okay. So it did. Please close Power BI desktop and click retry to continue installation. So let's see if we can snipe around the installation process for those who haven't. So I'll retry English, next, the authorization, preparing to install, next, agree, next, the location, next, and create a shortcut and install. So it begins the installation process and it starts loading. It's just pretty straightforward. I'm going to cancel this because I already have it in my computer. Yeah. Okay. So I'll just open it again. So, plenty talk. Let us get digging. Blank reports. I'd come here and so import data. So you have where are you importing data from? So once you open it, it would ask you if you're starting a fresh Power BI installation. It would ask you where are you importing data from. You know your data sources. Here we're going to be working with Excel and CSV, depending on what file format they come in. Okay. Let's have a look at the interface. So the left pane we have four items. We have the report view. The report view is where you do all your visuals. You see you have this item build. You have the format. You also have the data. It shows your data sources, right? You have the table view. The table view shows you every table you have imported, every data you've imported to Power BI. And we have the model view. The model view shows connecting tables together one with another. Lastly, you have the DAX query view. This came up newly, and yeah, I personally do not do much with it, but I think I'm just gonna check it out. I would not want to form like, oh, okay, this is what you do with this is what you do with it. But DAX anyway, DAX is the format. That DAX is the language that we'll be using in Power Query. DAX is in Power BI rather. DAX is the language of Power BI. DAX is the full meaning of DAX is data analytics expression. So it has its own unique formulas that you use to navigate around Power BI. And then once you're good with Excel, that's why we started with Excel. Once you're good with Excel, once you have a good understanding of Excel formulas, it will be easy for you to navigate around here. As a matter of fact, some of them are pretty much the same thing, so you needn't worry. Okay. Any questions so far before we dig in? At least we would maybe use the next 30 minutes and start something, uploading data and try out something. Any questions? None? Okay. That's fine. So I'm going to look for use one of our data sets from every data set seems to be okay. So we'll use the Superstore data set just to have a quick. So to import your data, the first thing is to take in the data you want to analyze. You could actually do it from here, import data in Excel, or you could come to the top, Excel, see data, your data sources, just like see your get data is still here under data, Excel workbook, and the rest of them. If you don't see it here, you can click on more and then to give you the whole table. But our data set is in Excel, so click on Excel and connect. So it directs you to where you have your data set and you search for it. I think mine is Superstore data assessment. Okay, I think this is it. Once you select the item, your data set, you click on open and it populates. Here it shows 3 sheets. This is our table. I think this is one that we had worked in, but this is our data set, our Superstore data set. So I'm just going to be selecting only this one because that's our data set. Then I go to transform data. Like I mentioned, the Power Query in Excel is similar to that of Power BI. That's why I had mentioned it was important for us to have a grasp on Power Query. So first thing, remember you want to go through the data sets and ensure that each of the columns are properly aligned. Like you have these are date, this is date, the formatting, you just want to ensure they are all correct. I know Superstore dataset is pretty clean, so I'll just go with the flow. Discount, profit, sales, quantity, Power Query, right? So this is all good and fine. And here I'll do close and apply. In Excel you see close and load. Here you see close and apply, Power Query. So there isn't more changes I need to make here. Right now. So I'll just close and load. So when it loads, remember I mentioned the 3 different views. We have the report view, we have the table view, and then we have the model view. The report view shows us is where we carry out our visualizations. We prepare our dashboards. and all. If you look at the data pane now, it has populated our Superstore dataset with all the columns in it, right? If we go to our table view, we've also had the tables there. So if we have multiple tables, they will all line up here. There we go. And then we have the Superstore data. We have the model view where we have tables. So model view is where we get into data modeling, right? Data modeling here has to do with connecting multiple tables together, maybe linking tables, maybe there is a date table or different sheets. We're going to see how they interface, just like we did for the sales one where we had product categories and all. Well, we're going to see how we navigate through it gradually. By the next class, we'll just go progressively so that I'm not pumping everything into you at once. So for starters, we're just going to work with one table, and next week we'll look into data modeling. So here we have all our data sets, and you see this build. In this place you have different types of visuals, you have different types of charts and all that you can use. So I'll start with the card tile and I'll click on it. So I click on it and then see what comes up. Now I'm going to drag, or rather, with it selected, I'm going to click on sales. I click on sales and see it sums up the sales for me. So total sum of sales 2.3 million. Okay, I can click out, maybe click on another tab, or maybe I'll just copy this, copy and paste, Ctrl V, and remove this. Maybe I go for quantity, check quantity, sum of quantity, and then Ctrl V again. I uncheck sales and I go for profits, sum of profits, Ctrl V, and what else is there? I think there was something on discount, right? Yeah, so sum of discounts. There you have it. Profits, quantity, sales. Okay, so that's one. Let's try some other visual. So if you want a visual, you can just come here, select the visual you want. Okay, let me pick. So let me pick this. Or better still, I'll pick this and select sales. I'll check sales and I'll also check the order date. So in the order date, if you look at this, the build, under the build, the order date, everything is here. I just want the year, so I'll just take off everything and then I'll have the year. So I'll just show you the visuals, the different visuals, and subsequently we'll look at customizing the different charts. Or let's try something else. Okay, maybe a pie chart, and I want to see maybe categories, and then the sales, There we go. And maybe this, let's see this. Let us see customers and how much revenue we generated from them. Want to see regions and profits, since we have been, or it's other things, just okay. I'll just do one more and maybe cities. Okay, so there is also the charts, the map charts, and then we can do cities and sales. Maybe adjust to countries. I'll just also add countries. Oh, I'm guessing they're all in the US. Okay, so just the cities then. Cities, country. What else can we get from here? Okay, we have subcategories, we have states. Oh, cities. Okay, yeah. So rather than cities, let us do states. I think that'll be okay because states, yeah, cities can have similar names in different locations, whereas we know this is all USA, so this makes more sense. Yeah. So for shipment mode, and then maybe we use quantity. Yeah. So in Power BI, you can. I mean, I've easily done this. You guys know the stress it could have taken to do stuff like this on Power, that in Excel, right? I just had to click and drop and click and this thing. Here would have done equal to and then referenced the pivot table, and so would need to create pivot tables for a number of, like, especially for these cards and these other ones. Of course, we could create visuals directly, but yeah, this I have done in a jiffy. And in customizing, you can customize this however you want. um, and so on and so forth. Let's do some visuals. Or before I continue, I can take questions. Do you have any questions to ask anybody? Okay, I'll just go on. So for this, when it comes to editing, when it comes to like formatting them, you go to this other icon called format. So I click on format and I see a whole lot. Initially it's going to get really confusing, but I assure you, you'll get a hang on it. You'll understand. So build is where you have the visuals. Data shows your tables, and then you have um, formats where you get to customize each of them. For example, okay, let's start with this visual now. The sum of sales by year. I don't like all this sum of sales, this sum of on my chart. So first of all, what is this? The title. The title is sum of sales by year. So I go to format on the selected chart. I go to format and I go to the title. Click on the drop down, and here I see sum of sales per year. I take off the sum off, and it reflects immediately on my chart. Okay. So that's for the title. I'll just leave that for now. What else? I don't want this axis. I don't want the vertical axis, which is the y-axis, showing figures. Rather, I would want my values, my figures on each of the tiles, and I don't want this sum of sales thing. So I'm going to y-axis. Here you have y-axis. I'll click on the drop down for y-axis, and then values, I'll turn it off. That takes off the values. Title, axis title, I turn it off and it goes away. Perfect. Next, I want the data values on each of the tiles. So I'll look for data values, and I'll see data values here, and it's off here, I turn it on, and there we go. The data values are here. And you see, it even summarizes our values for us based on, remember when we would try to look for the custom codes to customize, it does all that for us, which is really cool. Anyways, you could also format that whatsoever way you want it to be, right? I'm looking at this, it's sales by year, so we already know this is year, so I don't want the y-axis title here, so I'll go to the x-axis. This is y-axis and this is x-axis, so I'll go to the x-axis and then turn off the title. Perfect. That's how I want it. Now I'm noticing the grid lines are there. I don't want grid lines, so I'll go to grid lines and I'll turn it off, and there we go. Now I come here to charts, sum of sales by category, the title. I don't want the sum of, I just want sales by category. See, it even suggests the right name for you, rather than how we would be racking, is it category by sales or sales by category? So this does a whole lot of work, and good job. Oh, okay, so here the legend has a title. I don't want the legend title, so I go to legend and I turn off the title. There we go. Oh, maybe I want the legends at the base. I can go to legend position and put it at the different options, but bottom center, or maybe top center, or top right. So wherever you want it to be, I'm just going to put it back to the top, to the what? Right? Top right, to the top right stacked, center right stacked. There we go. I'm just going to keep it here. And same thing goes, title, sum of sales by customer name, take away the y-axis title. I want the data labels on here, and I don't want this sum of sales in the x-axis, so I'll go and turn off the title. I'll also turn off the axis values since they're already here. I don't need that here. and so on and so on and so on. There you go. There you go. And you could also customize. Okay, if we come here, you could also put your borders and play around it. Um, anyhow you want it. If you want them on the chart, if you want to create chips, if you want to add shapes, you could go to insert and where are shapes? Okay, here you go, shapes. You could choose to put shapes. But then I think I'll just keep this aside for now. I'll just keep this aside for now. We'll go into visualization, so we'll go into all that later. If you want to put borders, like I said, just know what you want to do and then you can put it. So this is the right, so if you want to change this is sum of sales, you could change it to under category, rather call out values. No, it's not on the it should be category label, isn't it? Okay. Okay. Oh, okay. So for this one, where you have sum of sales, if you want to change it, you could come to the fields under build, right click and rename this visual, and you could just maybe call it total sales. Maybe more presentable. It's gonna reflect here. If you want to change the font size, the category label, you could change it, put it in bold. You can change the color to whatever you want, maybe red. Then when you do this, you could actually, you have the format painter here too, so you could come to home and format painter, and it applies to every other one, so they look alike. So yeah, there you go. When you're recreating yours, you could just, do the whole, take away the whole sum of. Also from here, total quantity, total profit. Okay. Total discounts. Yeah, you can put a header. Okay, so I'll just reduce my visuals. So I can add a header, and then we'll leave it at that for tonight, so that I am not loading here all with a lot. So I'm going to show you there's a whole lot you can do with this. I don't want to align to middle rather. Oops. Okay, let's insert a header. We could use a text box. Okay, before that, I'll just do something random. Insert a shape. Use a square shape, and I'll just put it here. Selected the shape, can change the shape color, where is that gonna be? Shape style. So the fill, change it to, maybe I use something darker. Okay, so here I think one can add inside the shape, one can put a text here under shape style, the text, one can put the text. Let's call it Superstore. Superstore sales analytics. Or sales dashboard. Okay, so we can increase the font. I'm bolding it. Yeah, I think that looks good. There you go. Oops. So you can format this however you want them to be. You could choose to use shapes. I was avoiding going deep into it, but somehow it looks like I should touch it. So it's just like you're doing the same thing in Excel. Let me format, let me get the same color. So I just go to home, format painter, and I click on this. And if you go to format, you can send it to the back. Okay, send to back. So if I click out of it, I should have, oh yeah, so this is white background. I could come here and change the background, the card background, to be transparent. Under size and style, background, I could just turn off the background and it takes the background of this. I can change the color value from black to white, and there we go. So I just copy this and paste, maybe for each of them. At least there are several ways this can be done. I'll show us a few as we go by. So I'll select these three and I will move them to the back so that these guys will come to the front. Yeah, that's it. It's not perfect, but so I'm gonna select these three and I'll turn off their backgrounds. I would also change their distance to white. There we go. We could also do the same for the rest of them. I think I should have just gone to the designing. So if you go to view, you could also change the template of your visuals. Yeah, that would help you navigate through however you want. Okay, and remember you could like drill down. One of the beautiful things in your analysis, you can drill down to certain components without having a slicer. See, I didn't need to create slicers, and you could also create slicers here. You could do a whole lot of things with Power BI. Let's create one slicer before we call it a night, um, and take questions and call it a night rather afterwards. I have used up all the space. I'm gonna reduce this. So let's just put. So I want to add a slicer. So there is this icon here with the filter slicer. We put it and then we select. So what slicer should we use now? Maybe the year. So order date. So in a range. So I'm just gonna change. Oops. Okay, I'll just hit the drop down and data hierarchy. Gives the data hierarchy, but I'm just going to remove every other thing and select only the year. So here we have our year tile. So if I select this for each of the years, it navigates to that year. You could also change the style of your slicer under slicer settings. You could vertical tiles, you could use solar tiles, they also work, and you have different options if you want it in a drop down format where you select as you wish. Yeah, I'll just leave it at this style. Then you have the options where you could select multiple items, multiple years together, or select single, just picks only one, and so on. I'm just gonna stop there for now so that I don't bombard you with much more than you can bear for tonight. So I'll take questions now, please. Welcome to Power BI, gentlemen and ladies. Uh, when you're done, you save your file. Superstore. Then the location. Oh boy. Oh no. Okay, I think I clicked it twice. So there we go. Any questions, please? Anybody? No questions. Okay, gentlemen and ladies.
As people students for hospitals to take care of their families.
Thank you.
So it's
We'll
really
look at it again and then maybe next class Bush will have more questions for you.
Okay, that's fine.
more
Well done, everybody. Thank you. Have a good night. practice, please practice. I'll upload the videos tonight, so you could make reference to it if you have any challenges.